Hey there, guys and gals. This is lesson 3 of Unit 1 of Middle School B. This is going to be a really short one. We're going to look at finding the least common multiple. And the reason why this particular video is going to be a really short one is because I have a only slightly, it's still a pretty short video, longer video hitting the same topic in depth in the Middle School A course. And so we're going to we're going to do the same topic in this one, but much shorter. We're going to kind of talk about it slightly differently. In that video, I kind of walk through all the puzzle pieces of what multiples of a number are and all of those things, and we do some examples. We're going to do an example or two in this video, but in this one, we're going to kind of think about it more, assuming at this point that you have your multiplication tables memorized better at this point, and so we're going to kind of make that assumption, pretend though it may be. And if you feel like this video needs a little bit longer explanation, I'll go ahead and put a link in the iCard to that Middle School A video, and then which walks through some of the more step-by-step sequential puzzle pieces in this topic. So we're talking about the least common multiple, the LCM. LC common multiple. LCM. Tipple, right? So that is what we are talking about here. So multiples are the opposite kind of factors. So what are the multiples of the number 8? Well, the multiples of the number 8 are 8, because 8 times 1 is 8, and 16, because 8 times 2 is 16, and then 24, because 8 times 3 is 24, etc., right? And so those are what multiples are. It's the skip counting numbers, right? The things that we can multiply another number, anything that we can multiply a excuse me, a whole number times 8 is any answer to a whole number times 8 gives us their multiples. So 800 would be a multiple of 8, because 8 times 100 is 800, right? So those are the multiples. Now, we've got two other numbers in our title here. We've got least. Well, least is the smallest, and then common would be in common. So if we're looking at 2 or more numbers, and that we are going to do an example of 2 where we're looking at 3 different numbers in this one. In the Middle School A, we only compared 2 ever. But in this one, we'll look at least common multiple between like 3 numbers and those kind of things. You can do it between any number of numbers as well. So we're trying to find the smallest number that's in common between 2 or more other numbers that are, multiples. Hence the title. Let's take a look at an example. It'll clarify a little bit better if I quit him-hawing around and jump into examples. So let's look at the LCM, the least common multiple between, let's say, 2 and 3 and 6. And so you may already see, hopefully if you got your multiplication facts memorized pretty well, you can see probably that the answer already is 6. Done. Now, hold on, time out, let me take a step back and a breath and slow down a little bit. Make sure we understand what's happening. So, what are the multiples of 2? The multiples of 2 are 2, 4, 6. Now, if you ever hit one of the other numbers, you may as well kind of just stop there for a minute and see what happens. So, what are the multiples of 3? Well, the multiples of 3 are 3, 6. Oh, look, we did it again. The multiples of 6 are 6. Oh, we're finished. So because 6 is in a common multiple between all 3 of these numbers, and it's the least one that's in common, 2 is not in common. And so it's worth noting right here that a common kind of mistake or like mental confusion that I see very often is people try to take multiples and factors and shove them together. And people, if I say something like, what is the least common multiple between 2, 3, and 6? People might say 2. Now, 2 isn't even a factor of 3, but that might be common, right? All right. And so it's bigger than, it's got to be as big or bigger than the biggest number in the list of ones that we're trying to find. It will never be smaller than whatever the biggest number we're comparing with is. Let's look at another example and see what we can do. Let's find the least common multiple, the LCM, between, let's say, excuse me, how about 2? We like 2. 2s are easy. And 6, and we'll make it a little bit less easy and shove in a double digit in here and do 18, because that'll give us a little bit of trickiness. So let's start at the beginning and let's see if we can find multiples. So what are the multiples of 2? Well, the multiples of 2 are 2, 4, 6. We could stop there, but we haven't gotten at least up to that one yet. So we're going to need it to at least go to there, because it's not going to be anything smaller than 18 for sure. 2, 4, 6, 8, 12, 14, 16, 18. 18, we'll stop right there. So that one matches. They don't always match. We'll have an example here in a second where it isn't one of the other numbers. I think you probably have already figured out the answer to this one is 18. But I'm going to go ahead and walk it out. We'll do another example as our next, probably our last example in this particular video. We'll do more in class, of course. But another one where it doesn't match the biggest number, because that's not always true. 6, 12, 18. That matches. 18 is a multiple of 18. So the answer here is 18, right? Let's do one more where it isn't. So these both have one of the numbers being an example. Let's do one more. All right, let's look at the LCM, least common multiple, between 3, 7, and 8. Now, if you've got your multiplication facts memorized, you can see probably pretty clearly that the answer is not 7, because 3 times nothing is 7, and the answer is not 8, because 3 times nothing is 8, right? Now, if you've got your multiplication facts memorized really well, kind of like what we've been seeing before, you might see that the answer is not 24. In my brain, it was 24, but that's not going to work. This is going to be a bigger number than what I was anticipating, because I was... Yeah. Anyway, let's do it. Here we go. 3. Let's start. I'm gonna do it backwards and kind of see if we can figure out, because if we've got 3s memorized and 7s memorized, then if we kind of start listing out 8s, that may be a good place to start. So 8, 16, 24. That's what I was thinking in my head, but 24 is not a multiple of 7. It is not, in fact. So 24. How about 32? And then how about 40? 48? How about 56? How about 8 times 64? How about 72? How about 80? And then 88. Let's see if we can find one of those that works. This one's gonna be really tricky. Why did I do this? I think I'm gonna just pause and reverse it, because this is a bad idea. You could find it. It's just gonna be large, and we're gonna be sitting here doing this problem for a half an hour to make this video to prove a point. So let me get a better example. Give me 2 seconds here. I don't know what you're talking about. This was a 6 the whole time. Nothing happened. It's a lie. It's a myth and a legend. So this time, I think we can see where this is headed. Let's list the factors of 8 and see if we can find one that's going to be, not the factors. Ooh, I did it backwards. The multiples of 8. And let's see if we can find one with our expert knowledge of the multiples of 3 and 6. So 8 is not a multiple of either one. 16 isn't either. What about 24? It is, because 24 is a multiple of 3, because 3 times 8 is 24. 6 times 4 is 24. So the answer to the least common multiple between 3, 6, and 8 is 24. Bonus points if you can somehow prove that you did it without a calculator, because doing it with a calculator wouldn't be too difficult. Well, it would be less difficult anyway. But if you find the least common multiple between 3, 7, and 8, let me know in the comments below. Thank you, guys. Have a wonderful day. I'll see you in class if you're one of my students. If not, thanks for joining us. Let us know how else we can help you and all the awesome things. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. Bye-bye.